speeding. Joyce is a dick to the school landscaping crew. Don't screech to a halt in the grass. Do you have any idea how hard it is to cover up tracks in soil and replant the grass? It takes weeks to undo. Screech on the pavement like everyone else.
I think it's time for another episode.
As long as it's not an episode where 11 goes off with some other kids with powers in a van for an hour. I'm so glad that never happens. Will. Venom, let there be Will Byers. Possession. Indwelling. Dominion. Excitement?
Okay, that totally freaked me out.
I understand why we're freaked. The audience saw Will get possessed. Max just saw a boy standing in the football field with his eyes closed. Why is she freaked out? That was me every day during marching band practice for 4 years of high school. Nobody else got freaked out. I mean, the bullying freaked me out a little, but that's entirely unrelated. Mostly.
2 episodes in 2 days.
It's getting worse.
Kids that aren't medical professionals who think they are medical professionals. Or just kids.
You think it's True Sight?
That wouldn't make sense, though. Since Advanced Dungeons & Dragons is the edition out when the season takes place, the spell True Sight, which is called True Seeing, is only available to clerics. In the show already established that Will plays a wizard. Yeah, I do feel really cool right now. Thanks for asking.
These episodes that you're having, I think Dr. Owens is wrong.
Moms that aren't medical professionals that think they are medical professionals. Or just moms.
I tried to make it go away.
I mean, but did you? You screamed go away once. And I feel like you're overselling your attempts here, Will.
But he got me, Mom. Well, what does that mean? I felt it everywhere.
Puberty.
I will never, ever let anything bad happen to you ever again.
Wow, that's some big talk for the mom of an eternal victim when the series still has 3 more seasons to go. I'm sure she'll keep that promise, though.
Hey! What the hell is wrong with you?
I don't know, Hop. Maybe a grown man she looked up to as a father figure has been screaming at her for the last 5 minutes, forgetting that this is a child with severe PTSD. What? You can spot it in Will, but not your own kid? You know what? Here's 5 sins for being an absolute shithead.
If you're gonna have a girls' night, romantic comedies, do our nails, gossip.
Damn it, Nancy. Rule 1 of lying, keep it simple. Don't say one word more than you need to. A girls' night at Stacy's was perfectly fine. They all know what a girls' night means. And I also know what a girls' night means because of this book I'm reading, which is also coincidentally called A Girls' Night at Stacy's. And
Just tell him to call me the second he gets in. Please.
if Hopper thought Joyce was going to need him in an emergency, why not just get her a radio? He uses one to communicate with Elle when he's not yelling at her. Buy her one for emergencies because cell phones don't exist yet. Also thinking Hopper's in any way qualified to assist your child with mental health issues. I think he's more than proven otherwise during the previous 10 minutes.
You promised no doctor.
You have a sick child and you promise not to take him to the one qualified health expert that can help? Jeez, Joyce. Oh, I know. Take him to a nurse practitioner. They can prescribe medication if need be, and they're technically not doctors. What? All our YouTube channels have sin in the name. You didn't expect we'd have demons on staff to write out complex agreements and tricky word qualifiers? How do you think we ensnare our Sin Club members? Speaking of which, if you haven't already,
I'm gonna run you a nice bath and it'll warm you up.
forcing your kid to soak in their own filth.
Morning, Dart.
Meanwhile, on Dustin and Dart, which would easily be the least interesting subplot this show has ever had if it wasn't for that 11 joins the X-Men episode, but it still sucks.
It's too hot.
You're not 5, Will. You know where the cold water knob is. Use it.
You're moving your feet. Plant them next time. Draw a charge.
Promoting flopping. Also, if Steve was the star of the basketball team before Billy came to town, he should already f***ing know that. And now this show is making me think about joining Team Billy, and I don't like it.
Plenty of bitches in the sea.
And microplastics. Plenty of those in the sea, too.
That guy. There.
What?
He just talked to himself.
Being so bad at your surveillance job that a couple of teenagers spotted you. Rookie mistake, you two. You had one getaway option and you parked it out in the open. Did you two watch any of the Bond films? There's like 13 by this point in the show. Damn, Will's a great artist. Does anyone know if he's taking commissions for D&D character portraits? Because I've got this tiefling warlock who wanders water deep and...
Aaron, you're doing it again. Focus on the script. Stop being such a dork.
I'm not a dork, you're a dork. I mean, roll D20s.
Will didn't want me to tell anyone.
But Mike is betraying Will's trust because if this series has taught me anything, it's that Mike is a terrible friend. Withholding valuable information when your friend's life is at stake. Holy sh**. Did Hop really leave a child in a cabin full of broken glass? Maybe Elle would be safer in a lab with Papa. I'm sorry, but these boxes are way too clean to spend all the time below a dusty cabin in the woods of rural Indiana. Have you ever been to Butler, Indiana? It's kind of like Hawkins. I've seen some basements there, and let me tell you, things stored down there don't stay clean very long.
Sorry about that. Hospitality's not our strong suit.
Was he outside the door until Nancy screamed at the camera, or was that a coincidence? Either way, convenient timing is convenient. Also, has hospitality ever been the strong suit of an evil lab? I've seen a lot of evil labs, from Mandark's workspace to the Death Star, and let me tell you, not one of them served cookies.
Men of science have made abundant mistakes of every kind.
But that's not the full quote, Doc. Sarton goes on to say their knowledge has improved only because of their gradual abandonment of ancient errors, poor approximations, and premature conclusions. You had all the data from season 1 to abandon ancient errors, poor approximations, and premature conclusions. All that information to tell you to stop f***ing with the Upside Down, but you kept doing it. So maybe find another scientist to quote.
What if they tried to replicate that?
I don't think your defense of what if the Russians knew we f***ed with the physics of time and space is as effective as you imagine it to be. Between this and the TV stand at the cabin, Hopper clearly refuses to take heavy items off heavier objects before moving them. So I guess the sin is Hopper's back, surviving this.
This is all blue and has some weird dirt color.
You mean brown? Also, there's black on those drawings, and purple. Joyce is terrible at color theory.
He's drawing vines.
Hopper thinking that was all he needed to say to his good friend who's freaking the f*** out and worried to death about her son before he abruptly leaves. Creating a super intense moment in the score for Hopper carrying a shovel? Never knew digging could be so intense.
Jane.
Tarzan. Also, looks like 11 was lucky enough to find the expositional dump file. I was trying to remember where I'd put that. You'd think by now 11 would learn to bring better shoes for her upside-down world water walks. Sliders are your friend, Elle. I understand the car wasn't starting earlier, but did Jonathan and Nancy really think it wouldn't start now after creepy surveillance guy gave Jonathan the keys and wished them both a good day? I mean, it had to get to their location somehow. You're telling me the government agency that can tap Nancy's phone didn't think to check her purse for a recording device? That's some bullshit that only exists because the writers needed the bad guys to make a mistake. Come on, Duffer Brothers. You're better than this, I think.
You still want to do this?
Not particularly, Jonathan, but Jeremy told me that if I didn't keep going, he'd lock me in the shed with the badgers again, so my hands are tied, just as they would be in the shed.
Dirk, gotta talk to you, buddy.
Leaving the lights on when you're not in the room. That's how you run up your parents' power bill, Dustin. What's next? You gonna open your window when the AC is on so your family can pay the air conditioning for the whole neighborhood? Did Dustin's mother not hear the glass shatter on this tank and come to investigate? Having a hard time believing Dart's violent escape went unnoticed. So, not only did Dustin's mother inexplicably fail to hear shattering glass, but she somehow missed the cat being murdered as well? Have you heard cats when they think they're dying? Those are some loud f***ers. I'm not buying Dustin's mom somehow missing all of this. Episode expects us to believe that a man whose daily diet includes a hearty helping of donuts, cigarettes, and beer could dig a hole this large all on his own in just a few hours. And I do not believe you, episode. What exactly was Hopper hanging on to lower himself down into this hole? You know what, Duffer Brothers? You've maxed out the unbelievability credit card. So there's 10 more sins. Shut them down, Senny.
He wants a cat.
I am Venom, and you are mine.
I just want this to be over.
It's okay.
There's a new sheriff in town.
Will didn't want me to tell anyone, but on Halloween night, he saw a sort of shadow in the sky.
A shadow? What kind of shadow?
6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. This means something.
Gone. Reduced to atoms.